up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I am Gold Pony, and today we are in the new 2020 BMW M850i X-Drive Gran Coupe, courtesy of Apple BMW in York, PA, and I am, needless to say, really super excited to be in this one because this thing is crackling like mad, and I absolutely love it. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and jump right into it, and as always, let's start with pricing. And so pricing for the 2020 M850i will start at $108,900. Powering the beast will be a 4.4 liter twin power turbocharged V8, putting out 523 horsepower at 5,500 RPM, 553 pound-feet of torque available from the power band of 1,800 to 4,600 RPM. That power is going to be sent to all four wheels through an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which we will be testing out in a little bit here. And that does include manual shift mode, of course, and launch control as well, giving you a 0 to 60 time of approximately 3.7 seconds with a top speed of 155 miles per hour. And MPG numbers, if you're curious, are going to come in at 17 in the city, 25 on the highway, of course, taking premium unleaded fuel. So do want to mention, before we do any kind of accelerations or paddle shifter tests or anything like that, there are some driving modes located just behind the shifter there, and they're going to include Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. And essentially what those driving modes are going to do is adjust things like the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and the exhaust note, quite substantially the exhaust note. So for instance, if you put it in Eco Pro or Comfort driving modes, the exhaust note is pretty quiet, it is pretty humble. If you put it in Sport or Sport Plus, it gets much, much deeper and it crackles more than any other car I think I've ever experienced. And I absolutely love it. But if that wasn't your thing, again, you don't have to put it in that mode. Just keep it in Comfort or Eco Pro and you don't have to hear the crackle, though I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to. But either way, having now mentioned that, let's go ahead and test out the paddle shifters. I'm going to put it in that manual shift mode I was mentioning to you guys. And by the way, to do that, simply slide the shifter to the left there. But let's go ahead and test out the paddle shifters here as soon as people stop being in front of me. And let's see how quickly they react for us here. Here we go. It almost launches you forward, but paddle shifters are ridiculously quick, needless to say, and they are very high quality, it feels like, too, as expected, I guess. But yeah, very nice paddle shifters, no delay whatsoever with them. But to give the control back to the M850i, simply slide the shifter to the right, and I think it is time. Let's do a quick little acceleration here in the M850i, giving the control back to the car, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Good grief, I love it. Not as quick as the M8 I recently drove, but dang, this thing is a beast. 0 to 60 at 3.7 will definitely send your head into these very comfortable headrests. I can attest to now. That acceleration was amazing. I absolutely love it. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so, of course, you will find M Sport brakes on the M850i, along with the M logo on those front calipers as well. And as far as the braking feel goes, it's been great. Certainly brings you to a very quick stop here in this thing. Then touching on suspension and handling a little bit, up front, you're going to get a double wishbone multi-link aluminum front suspension, in the back a 5-link aluminum rear suspension, and of course twin tube gas pressurized shock absorbers. And there is also an active M suspension with active roll stabilization, which is really that active M suspension that monitors each damper individually, not only soaking up the road imperfections but also tightening up the suspension during heavy cornering, really giving you the best of both worlds. So that is definitely a big plus in my book. M Sport differential as well, that's going to help send torque to the wheel with the most traction, which is going to result in better handling and better acceleration, of course, as well, as I just attested to. And as far as the steering feel goes, it is great. Definitely a heavier weight to it, not quite as heavy actually as my Mustang GT, but this is more of a luxury car, so it is as expected. But perhaps the best part about the steering feel is the grips. The 10-2 grips are beastly, and I absolutely love it. Definitely gives you a better feeling of being in control of the car, and that's one thing BMW does on just about all of their vehicles, so always a big fan of that. So far in my test drive, ride quality's been absolutely amazing. Again, partly thanks to that adaptive M suspension there. And as far as cabin noise goes, you guys can probably hear me quite well right now, because besides the exhaust crackle that I purposefully have on right now, there isn't a whole lot of exterior noises coming into the cabin. I choose to have that exhaust crackle on because it's freaking amazing. But then touching on visibility, because of its design, it's not gonna be as much as maybe a 5 Series or a 3 Series, of course, but visibility is just fine. I can see perfectly fine out the back there. Did want to also mention I'm looking at a head-up display right now. It's giving me the speed limit, my current speed, and it's also gonna adjust color ever so slightly if you change the driving mode, so that's pretty cool too. But do like the head-up display. It's gonna help you better keep your eyes on the road. Another visibility plus there. Rain sensing windshield wipers also come standard, so those windshield wipers are actually gonna turn on automatically when the M850i detects any kind of rainfall, even a drizzle. So it's kind of like automatic headlights. You never have to worry about it. It's definitely a plus. It's something you get used to very quickly if you've never had it before. So big fan of that as well. But that about rounds out the performance segment of this review. Let's now go ahead and check out the exterior of this beautiful 2020 BMW M850i. All right, and so here is the 2020 BMW M850i. Absolutely amazing silhouette to this car. Love how the back end tapers down. I love the front end. This car essentially may just be one of the best looking sedans, or four doors I should say. It technically is a Gran Coupe, but still an amazing looking four door. But anyways, let me start up front. There is that active kidney front grille. And I always like to mention, you guys, if you can see through that active kidney front grille, those are active shutters. They actually open and close depending on the engine cooling that's needed. So I always find that interesting, but yet I can never seem to get it on camera, although I have seen it before. It is pretty cool how that works. But anyways, side air curtains, of course, also will come standard on the M850i, and that's gonna help direct air around the wheel and tire. Also, Icon adaptive LED headlights with laser light technology, and essentially what that is the brightest lighting allowed by law. And it actually does say, let me show you guys, it says BMW laser on the side, and that is the very brightest LEDs that are out there right now. And they absolutely look amazing. Of course, LED daytime running lights, also standard automatic feature with those headlights, meaning when it starts to get dark out, they're going to turn on automatically there for you, so you never have to worry about that. Also a completely unique front end compared to the non-M8 series BMWs. But anywho, let's go ahead and make our way to the side here. First thing I wanted to point out is that bronze satin chrome trim located on the front fender there, and that was also actually around the front grille as well. I didn't mention it while I was in the front, but that is a bronze satin trim. It absolutely looks amazing. Bronze satin chrome mirror caps as well. That is what you're looking at right now. By the way, those side mirrors will be power folding and heated with LED integrated turn signals. That is all standard, of course. Zooming out a little bit, black window surrounds. No chrome window surrounds on this. Black actually looks better in my opinion. Another thing I wanted to mention is something called soft closed doors. There is a spider right there, but soft closed doors is something that luxury manufacturers do. Essentially, if you do not shut the door all the way, let me show you guys. BMW kind of sucks it in there for you, so that is pretty cool, and our spider is leaving us. Anyways, as far as the wheel setup goes, 20-inch V-spoke light alloy wheels with performance run flat tires will come standard. They look right at home. They kind of do have a bronze finish-ish to them, so that kind of ties together well with the accenting in the front fender and the front grille as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the back. Integrated M rear spoiler. It is, again, integrated, so it is kind of a part of that rear trunk lid. It definitely looks good back there. LED taillights, again, will come standard. Trim level badging just below them. And there is a more aggressive rear bumper once again compared to the standard 8 series. Just below it all, let's get to the very bottom, and perhaps, no, definitely the very best part about this car. Center rear diffuser, of course, that is pretty much as expected, but to the sides, this is the best part. Dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips, and there is what they call a sport exhaust system here. So like I was previously saying, the exhaust note can be altered by the driving modes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in sport driving mode here, and you guys will hear all of the wonderful crackle that comes with the M850i. As always, here is that exhaust clip. right, so now since we are around back, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there actually is a button on the key fob that's pretty normal, but it is a power operated rear trunk, and it is also a hands-free rear trunk, meaning all I need to do is simply walk up to the M850i and kick my foot underneath, and that is automatically going to open up for me. So this is great, especially if you have your hands full with a kid or groceries or whatever. That is a pretty cool feature to have, and actually it's the same way to close it. It is power operated, of course, but anyways, once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 15.5 cubic feet, and in that cargo area there is a little cargo net. There's a couple little extra cubby spaces if you wanted them, but if that was not enough space for you though, those rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space there if you needed it. Then make your way to the rear legroom. That is going to come in at 36.6 inches, so for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there, but perhaps the best part about those rear seats is they are bucket seats. This is probably one of the first times I've ever noticed this, perhaps because of the car we're in today, but usually the back seats are overlooked in fast cars a lot of times, but these seats actually do hold you in place and you kind of sink down into them. Those leg rests are kind of angled upwards, so it really is quite a nice seat design in the back. And of course you have a panoramic two-piece glass moonroof, so the rear passengers can see the sky and they can control that view of the sky. That is the best part. There's actually buttons on the side doors. As a rear passenger, you can control everything for yourself back there, including that glass moonroof just above them. Also, there's side window sunshades. They can control that as well. There is a rear window sunshade. They can control that as well. There is a ton of stuff they can control it. Of course, they have rear ventilation back there. That's pretty normal. And the M850i does have 4-zone climate control, so both rear passengers can set their own temperatures as well. Heated rear seats, all of that stuff. It's pretty much expected, but perhaps again, the best part about those rear seats is just the fitment. They are bucket seats, truly, and they feel absolutely amazing as a rear passenger. I love them. But anyways, making our way up to the front seats, 16-way power adjustable front seats with width adjustment, so better helping hold you in place around the corners. Also thigh support adjustment, power headrest adjustment, and memory seating. And of course they are heated and ventilated, and I don't know if it's coming off on film like it is in person here, but we actually do have the night blue interior on this particular M850i, and it looks absolutely amazing. It is a very dark blue contrasted with the black leather. It is pretty darn cool. It's so much better than just a basic black leather, in my opinion. It's different and I love it. And that continues on to the doors, of course, the rear seats and all that stuff. So it is pretty darn good looking. And there are plenty of interior color options, by the way, for the M850i. So well done there. Of course, these front seats are extremely comfortable. Again, with all of those adjustments, including side bolster adjustments, you're definitely not going to have any issues finding your perfect driving position there. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is power adjustable, leather wrapped, perhaps some of the best 10-2 grips in the business right now. Super thick. I absolutely love them. Definitely makes you feel like you're in a race car. And this car essentially is a race car for the street. Steering wheel is also heated. That button is located just above the M logo on the very bottom there, just below the BMW logo in the center. So heated steering wheel for the super cold days in Pennsylvania as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me first start by showing you guys the key here. It is a heavy duty key, so to speak. Got the BMW M colors on the one side, and all of the buttons are actually going to be all located on one side of the key. You have lock, unlock, and that button to pop the rear hatch. And by the way, the lock button is the BMW emblem in the center there. But to go ahead and start this one, I am simply just going to put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button, which is located just to the left of the shifter there. It's open. Then once started up, there is a 12.3-inch instrument cluster digital gauge setup, and it is completely customizable by using the steering wheel mounted controls on the right side there. And also, when you adjust the driving modes, those gauges will adjust color as well. So if you put it in Eco Pro driving mode, it is going to give you more of a blue hue. If you put it in normal, it's going to give you more of a reddish hue. And in sport, it's going to give you a lot more of a reddish hue, along with a little more black as well. So definitely pretty cool how the gauges adjust, and also the head-up display adjust as well. Did want to mention that when you change those driving modes, it just changes the color essentially. Eco Pro gives you blue, normal gives you white, and sport gives you red. So I do happen to like that as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the overall interior quality, because this has a ton of it anthracite headliner, stainless steel fabric interior trim. That stainless steel is everywhere. There's tons of aluminum trim details, including the pedals and the sill plates. The sill plates are aluminum and they are illuminated. That M850i illuminated into those sill plates. So I found a nice dark little area to show you guys that. I thought that was pretty awesome. There is also merino leather and Napa leather finishes throughout. There isn't really a whole lot of plastics at all going on in the M850i, pretty much as expected though. But heated front armrest is another thing I always like to mention with a lot of BMWs actually. So usually you get heated seats and the steering wheel a lot of times, but almost never the armrest, so I think that is pretty cool. Universal garage door openers can be found just beneath the frameless rear view mirror there. And just in front of the cup holders, there is a wireless phone charger. There's also a USB charging port, 12-volt power outlet. Again, 2 cup holders. Just behind the shifter, you have an electronic parking brake. And within that center armrest that is heated again, you will find a rubberized bottom so things don't slide around as much. Another 12-volt power outlet and a phone charger as well in there. So that is pretty cool too. And again, there's aluminum trim to open the glove box. It is finished very, very nicely. And perhaps one of my favorite parts about all of this is all of the ambient lighting, the blue ambient lighting that ties together so well with this night blue interior. Absolutely love it. But anyways, let's go ahead and make our way to the tech display. 10.25 inch color touchscreen display, and that is one way to control it. It is a color touchscreen display, but you can also control what is on that screen using the circular dial and buttons just to the right of the shifter, and that's probably the easier route when you're actually driving, but I found the touchscreen is usually easier when you're actually stopped, so it's good to have both. But anyways, Bluetooth and audio streaming will come standard. Apple CarPlay 1-year trial. After that, you have to pay for it. Still no Android Auto quite yet. Factory navigation system will come standard on the M850i though. And perhaps one of the coolest things on that tech display is there are experience modes. You guys have all heard of driving modes, right? Well, there are experience modes on the M850i. There's executive, expressive, well-being, and end mode. And essentially all of those will adjust different aspects of the car, everything from the ambient lighting to the sunshades to everything. So I just put it on expressive mode and it completely shut everything. The dual panel moonroof closed, the side sunshades in the back closed, the rear window sunshade. It is like you are an executive in the back seat. It's absolutely awesome. And of course, if you press that again, you guys can hear it, it all opens back up. How freaking cool is that? And again, it all adjusts the colors as well. It can adjust the ambient lighting to make it red or blue or whatever, but love experience modes. BMW, well done there. But of course, you can also check out your radio settings up on that screen. And by the way, there is a 16 speaker Harman Kardon surround sound system that will come standard with 9 tweeters, 5 mid-range speakers, 2 bass speakers, and 464 watts. But that's not the one we have today. We have my favorite sound system produced in any manufacturer out there. I've said this in all of my videos, I feel like just about. Bowers & Wilkins 16 speaker sound system, 1400 watts. That is ridiculous. And that is gonna go for $3,400, by the way. But having said that, let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. I felt like Night at the Roxbury there for a second. That was ridiculous. You guys got to experience 1400 watts at some point. It is crazy. It's like you're at a concert. It comes at you from all directions. The clarity is really what's on point the most with 1400 watts. The bass was amazing, of course, but dang, that sound system just takes it to a different world every single time. But anyways, last thing I wanted to mention on that tech display is when you do put the M850i in reverse, you will find a rear view camera with a 360-degree view. And by the way, the side mirrors also tilt down when you put this car in reverse. But with that 360-degree view, you can actually just touch the screen and it will show you different angles, like what's to the left of you, what's to the right of you. There is exactly what's behind you. And then there's the automatic setting, but that is pretty cool. It gives you different angles as well with a digital rendering of the M850i. It looks pretty darn cool if you ask me. But anyways, as always, that is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, there are front, side, and side curtain airbags. Also in the back, you have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also standard rear child door locks, auto-dimming rear view mirror, and a driver's side auto-dimming mirror as well. Adaptive cruise control will come standard. You guys probably saw the sensor in the front of the car there. frontal collision warning, automatic city collision mitigation system with automatic braking, daytime pedestrian detection, and there's also some optional safety packages, including the driver assistance professional package that goes for $1,700. That's going to give you partially automated driving, essentially, with traffic jam assistance, so that's always nice if you're driving home from work and you're stuck. Blind spot warning system with rear cross traffic alert is available. There is also a night vision with pedestrian detection package that goes for $2,300, but that can actually see potential road hazards up to 1,000 feet in front of you, and cooler objects are going to appear in blue, warmer objects are going to appear brighter, like deer, so to speak, or any other animals, or people for that matter. So that's definitely a plus if you do a lot of night driving as well. But anyways, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there if you like. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay gold.